Hey there, everyone. Will Dupree here in the KXAN Live studio. We're going to pause for just a moment so that we can build up some more viewers to begin our conversation about this pretty cool event that's happening this weekend here in Austin. I don't know about you all, but I've been I've been very bothered by what's happening over in Australia. As you can see this video there, wildfires are burning rampantly across the entire continent there. It has burned 40,000 square miles and has killed more than 1 billion animals. That's the estimate, 1 billion animals. Just think about that. And like many of you, you've probably been wondering, what can you do to help out these many different organizations that are working with animals and with people affected by these fires? Well, there is an easier way to do that here in Austin because of an event that's happening on Sunday, and we want to tell you all about that. So to join me right now is Miriam Parker. She is the Executive Director of the Austin Food and Wine Alliance. Miriam, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking about the Austin for Australia event. Tell us what that is exactly.
So it's actually a two-part series of events. We asked a bunch of our restaurant partners and bars to basically participate in some kind of initiative within their establishment to help raise money for this cause. And so a lot of the restaurants have been so gracious in offering, whether it's $1 off of a dish, $1 off of a cocktail. We have friends like Tito's who's going to literally donate $1 for every cocktail sold. And in Austin, you can only imagine how many Tito's are served on Sundays.
Right, yeah.
And then we also have an event happening at Half Step from 3 to 6 with live music. We're going to give away some items. We're going to have some food and just have a party just to celebrate Australia Day, which essentially is close to their 4th of July.
Yeah, not only is this event happening on Sunday, but it is effectively Australia Day.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice timing for that, too.
We planned that on purpose just because we knew that was something that was meaningful to a lot of Australians.
And for anybody who doesn't know, the Austin Food and Wine Alliance, explain what you guys do and kind of what your work is here in Austin.
Yeah, so we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and the mission for our organization is to basically help grow culinary innovation in Austin. And so we have a lot of amazing food businesses, farmers, nonprofits that are doing things to really kind of elevate our food scene. And so we try to reinvest back in the community in that way by giving grants. And so far we've given over $300,000 in grants.
Wow.
And the other aspect of what we do is we put on a program for high school kids that are in the culinary programs at their high school. When I was in school, it was home ec. But now they have full-on kitchens, and so we try to get them excited about exploring a career in the culinary world.
Yeah, and I want to bring up that video again that we showed from Australia showing those terrible flames that have burned all across the continent there. What was it about this particular situation that drew the attention for you and your organization?
I think, like many people, we've seen the videos, we've seen the photos, we've read the articles, and we've all, I think, have been so rattled by this. It's on such a massive scale that I think a lot of us just felt compelled that we had to do something. I mean, the people in Australia are still dealing with this. I mean, it's an ongoing issue, and they're trying to protect their homes and trying to protect their families. And so I think as fellow citizens of the world, we thought, hey, let's do something about this.
Yeah, and you all have voted upon doing this event called Austin for Australia. Again, it's this Sunday. What is the goal? What are you hoping to do with this?
Obviously, we want to raise as much money as possible. We have 3 amazing charities that we're trying to support. We're lucky that because we're a nonprofit, we're able to continue to give back to other nonprofits. And so we have the Food Bank of Australia, we have Give It. So Give It is a wonderful organization that basically supplies emergency necessities to people who are affected any part of Australia. And then Wires is helping the rehabilitation of all the wildlife. So like we've seen a lot of photos of the koalas and the kangaroos, and so they're helping rehabilitate them.
Mm-hmm. And again, these are the 3 different organizations that are going to be benefiting from this benefit on Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah. And you also have a GoFundMe page, and I want to bring that up quickly so that you all can see this particular event has a GoFundMe site. So if you cannot come out on Sunday to these different participating bars and restaurants or to the Half Step Bar, we'll get to that in just a moment too, you can also give online. So there is a GoFundMe page created, and I want to pull that up quickly. Just give me 1 second, you guys. Here we go. This is the GoFundMe, and Miriam, if you can explain how this is working too.
So the funds that we collect off the GoFundMe will be divided equally among the three organizations. So anything, whether it's collected at Half Step, the GoFundMe, or at the restaurants and bars, will all be divided among these three organizations. And so essentially, once it's collected, we'll be wire transferring them to the organizations.
All right. This
Yeah.
is a pretty big undertaking for Austin to do. I mean, we are thousands of miles away from Australia.
Yeah.
Some people might say, there are causes here worth giving to. Why this one? Why do this for our neighbors so far away?
You're completely right. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that can be helped within our community. But like I said, I think there's something that just I think rattled us, and just the images, the animals. Austin's a very animal-centric community,
Right.
and we're always raising money for animals, and so I think for a lot of us, and our board included, and actually one of our board members is Australian, and so he's actually my co-chair for this initiative, and he's been sharing a lot of stories. So I think just it's hit us on a personal level as well. So we felt like we needed to do something about it.
Yeah, if you're just joining us once again, everybody, we're live here on KXAN.com, the KXAN News app, and on Facebook. We're talking about the Austin for Australia benefit that's happening this Sunday all across the city. A lot of different bars and restaurants are participating as well. Miriam, give us kind of a rundown of who you can go to and check out and maybe contribute a little bit.
Well, if you like to have brunch, go check out Italic or Irene's or 24 Diner. Kirby Lane has really stepped up. For every queso sold at any of their locations in Austin, they're going to donate $1. So for us queso lovers, I highly encourage you to check that out. The Alamo Draft House has been very instrumental too. So all of their bars within their theaters will be raising money. We have, Lick at all of their locations, our ice cream. They'll be also giving a portion of proceeds. So really, truly, everyone that's listed on our site is giving something. And so, whether it's $1 or a portion of sales, all of it's going to be very impactful for us.
Yeah, and if you're looking right here at your screen right now, these are all the different restaurants and other businesses that are participating. I mean, quite a long list, Miriam.
Once we announced it, we've had more and more wanting to step up. So that list is definitely going to continue to grow. So I definitely encourage people to check it out on Sunday when they get up in the morning and try to decide what they want to do that day.
And you were saying before we got on air that more businesses are being added all the time.
Yeah, I think everyone they're seeing their fellow restaurateurs doing something, and they're excited by the fact that there's something on such a big scale happening here in Austin. So everyone's been really generous and kind about wanting to set up.
To do something like this, Austin for Australia, again, that's the name. To do something like this, how rare is that for all these businesses to kind of come together to do something like this?
I've been in Austin since '99, and I think that there's been a few times where somebody, organization has done something like this. I think for the restaurant community, our restaurant community is incredibly generous on a regular basis. They're participating in events all the time for various nonprofits, and so another reason for doing this was to also just basically support them as well and get people in their restaurants and to help support this cause. And so for the most part, these restaurants, for them to step up, I'm just thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled that everyone's been so supportive.
Yeah, were you surprised that many restaurants said, sure, sign me up?
It was immediate. I sent out quite a few emails, and it was wonderful to see people respond, and I think they also were looking for something to do and help kind of benefit the folks that are affected. And so, this gave them something really concrete that they could do, and that was easy for them also to implement, during the course of that day.
Yeah, again, thank you all for joining us here on our different streaming platforms. We're talking about this Austin for Australia event. Again, it's happening this Sunday, January 26th. And there are many different participating businesses. We showed some of them a little bit earlier, but we're also talking about a party that's happening, the Australia Day party. So here are the details right here. Miriam, tell us about this event.
So we have live music. Half Step has been incredibly gracious in donating their space for us to host this event. And so we'll have various drink specials, with a portion of proceeds benefiting for every drink sold. Ramblers come on board to provide water. We're going to have bangers in light of this holiday. And then we'll also be doing some giveaways for donations. And so every part of this event will try to do what it can to help support the cause.
And again, these are the details right here. here. This is the one party that's happening at Half Step Bar. That's at 75.5 Rainey Street from 3 to 6 this Sunday, January 26th. So if you'd like to go out and support these different relief organizations, this is one way to do it. Miriam, if you can kind of tell me about, whenever you've seen the images that we saw in Australia, which included much footage like this, how did it affect you?
Well, I think I can't even recall a natural disaster like this before. I think that was the first thing. It's just trying to fully understand the magnitude of it. And, you look at maps where they actually show where the destruction is, and it's just such a huge portion of the country. And I think for me, I spent an evening basically watching these videos that, are being shown right now of these animals. And, it's just, I grew up loving koala bears, and to see them on such a scale, it's really devastating to see.
It is hard not to be moved by those images, for sure.
For sure.
Again, we are talking to Miriam Parker. She is the executive director of the Austin Food and Wine Alliance. That's the group that's organizing this benefit on Sunday called Austin for Australia. It's going to happen at a number of businesses across town. The money raised will go to 3 different relief organizations based in Australia to help out animals like the ones you're seeing right there, as well as people who have been affected by these wildfires burning all across the continent still at this hour. Very terrible situation, but Austin is trying to be able to help in some way, and this is one way that people can give.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Is there anything that people should know before we wrap up our live stream that you'd like to share about this particular event?
I encourage people to check out Austin for Australia if they want to learn more about the organizations. They're really, truly remarkable organizations, and I can only imagine as a nonprofit the kind of demand that they're experiencing right now and having to service and help all those people affected. So there's definitely information on the site. We definitely encourage that. And, if people can't make it out, please try to donate on the GoFundMe. I know there'll be other events throughout the next couple weeks with other groups and organizations, so just definitely be on the lookout. And if there's any way that you can support it, please do.
And Austin is a giving place, and this is going to show it once again.
Yep.
All right, everybody, that was Miriam Parker. She's the executive director of the Austin Food and Wine Alliance. They're organizing this benefit again on Sunday called Austin for Australia. It goes towards some relief organizations working in Australia as that country and that continent deals with a terrible disaster with those wildfires. Miriam, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this event. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And hopefully it's a big crowd on Sunday, too.
And we hope that you join us.
That'd be great. Again, thank you all for joining us here on our live streams. We do appreciate that. We do have details about this event on our website, kxan.com, and the KXAN News app. You can read a whole lot more about it there. Thank you all again. We'll see you back here another time.